Around the globe, there have been numerous spirits, demons, and fair folk associated with swamp and bogs. This is true in many countries, especially the United Kingdom, which is where our adventure is located tonight. Before we begin our ghastly tale, lend me your ear for a moment. The holidays are here at last, and for those who do not know, want to get that friend or family member that is hard to please, try Amazon. You can do this by getting them Amazon Prime or perhaps a gift card. I have links in my description for both. Feel free to look in there and see if I have a link to something you're interested in. Now on to our adventure tonight. When I was a young boy, I spent the summer with my auntie and uncle in the UK. I was the only kid there, so I did a lot of exploring that summer. The place was full of swamps, or what he called bogs. I really do not know the difference. It all seemed like swamps to me. These bogs were full of tales about ancient creatures who, among other things, would steal unwary children. My aunt was against me exploring, but uncle did not mind. He gave me a piece of iron sharpened to an edge, kind of a tiny little knife, if you will. He also made me promise to have it with me always, and to be back before it got dark. I was taking a path all too familiar that I traveled many times that summer, but this day was going to be different. An adventure I wish I never had. I heard a beautiful sound by a strange animal. I was dying to know what creature made such a beautiful melody. I followed the sound best I could, and it led me to an old bog. When I reached the water's edge, the sound had stopped. Disappointed, my eyes scanned the trees in hopes to find the elusive songbird. I never saw the rippling in the bog. I never heard the slimy thing reach out for the bog toward my leg. A bony hand with long sharp nails inching closer to my foot. It quickly grabbed my leg with such strength, dragging me down into the bog itself. I screamed and tried to kick, but I could not break free from its grip. Then I remembered my promise to my uncle and the piece of iron in my pocket. I reached for the sharp little blade, and I sliced down the arm that was dragging me under. But it did not bleed. Nothing came out. No liquid at all. But I did hear a scream rise from the water. It was blood-curdling and horrible to listen to. I crawled away and quickly got back to my feet as the thing came out of the bog itself. It had green seaweed for hair. Its skin and teeth was also green. The body was thin. It looked like a skeleton that was covered with green skin. She held her arm and then lunged for me. I ran as fast as I could, grabbing the old iron blade in my hand. I busted through the door and went straight to my uncle. Only then did I stop to catch my breath. He stood up, concerned, and asked me what had happened. I described in detail the creature I met at the bog. He scratched his head and looked at me. Then he inquired if I still had that sharpened piece of iron in my pocket. I told him yes, that I used it to slice her arm, but no blood came out of it. He called it a name. Jenny Greenteeth. A water spirit, or perhaps demon. Perhaps part of the Fae. Found in these parts. The only thing known to harm it is iron. That's why he insisted I carry the piece with me, especially when I was hiking near the bogs. In fact, he had sharpened it just for that purpose, because he told me he had met her too. Long ago, when he was a boy, the fiend stole his best friend, and when him with some adults returned to the bog, only bones were found and wet clothes beside them. I was surprised at his answer, but I'm glad he did believe me. With a hug and thanks from me, we both agreed to not tell Auntie any of this. That was the last time I spent at my uncle's home in the UK. I I have never seen that woman or creature again. Now that I have a family of my own, I often tell them the dangers of bogs, swamps, and Jenny Greenteeth herself. They laugh. They think it's just an old fairy tale. But I make sure of one thing, that they always carry a sharp piece of iron in their pockets at all times. My wife does, and I do too. To hear more videos like this, do not forget to subscribe, ring the bell overhead, and check out my playlist. And do come back next week as we explore more cryptids and legends from the dark.